As I've often said, boycott politics never work. It's always best to be inside the tent than being outside of the tent.
The United States is not participating in official talks at the G20 in South Africa. I saw the South African president running his mouth a little bit against the United States and the president of the United States earlier today, and that language is not appreciated.
Against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer.
Tonight, a diplomatic standoff is deepening between South Africa and the United States after President Cyril Ramaphosa suggested that Washington may be reconsidering its G20 boycott, a claim the White House swiftly dismissed as fake news.
We have received notice from the United States, a notice which we are still in discussions with them over, about a change of mind about participating in one shape, form or other in the summit. So the discussions are still ongoing. This comes really at the late hour before the summit begins. And so therefore we do need to engage in those types of discussions to see how practical it is and what it finally really means. In a way, we see this as a positive sign, very positive, because, as I've often said, boycott politics never work. It's always best to be inside the tent than being outside of the tent. The tent is G20. All countries are here, and the United States, being the biggest economy in the world, needs to be here. So it's pleasing to hear that there is a change of approach, and so we are still discussing how that will manifest.
But Washington's response was unequivocal. A senior White House official rejected Ramaphosa's comments outright, calling them fake news and insisting the U.S. is not reversing its boycott.
I'd be happy to explain, because there is not a shift. The United States is not participating in official talks at the G20 in South Africa. I saw the South African president running his mouth a little bit against the United States and the president of the United States earlier today, and that language is not appreciated by the president or his team. The ambassador, or the representative of the embassy in South Africa, is simply there to recognize that the United States will be the host of the G20. They are receiving that send-off at the end of the event. They are not there to participate in official talks, despite what the South African president is falsely claiming.
The official confirmed that only the acting ambassador, Mark D. Dillard, would attend the ceremonial handover of the G20 presidency, purely as a formality. The U.S. boycott comes amid rising tensions during President Trump's second term. Washington has accused South Africa of discriminating against white citizens, particularly referencing claims rejected by Pretoria about violence against white Afrikaner farmers.
Let me clarify that.
Yeah,
Let me clarify that, because what you saw, the speeches that were being made, one, that is not government policy. We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
but you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can
And then
take
when
land.
they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
Nothing happens to them.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately, through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now
The
been
farmers are
utilized.
black. The farmers are not black.
We
I don't
now-
say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning, they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off, they died violently. And, you know, I mean, we're here to talk about it, and I didn't know we'd get involved here. But I will say this, that if the news wasn't fake like NBC, which is fake news, totally, one of the worst, ABC, NBC, CBS, horrible. But if they weren't fake news like this jerk that we have here, if we had real reporters, they'd be covering it. But the fake news in this country doesn't talk about that. They don't want to talk about it, but now they have to talk about it. But they won't. This won't even be a subject. They'll have him talking about why did...
The U.S. also pressured South Africa to avoid issuing a joint G20 declaration, arguing consensus was impossible without American involvement. South African officials emphasized that the U.S. is the only G20 member absent from the talks. As the first G20 summit hosted by an African nation, the agenda centers on debt relief for low-income countries, a just energy transition, and access to critical minerals. Issues South Africa argues require global cooperation. This diplomatic strain comes after a series of escalating moves: high U.S. tariffs on South African exports, the expulsion of Pretoria's ambassador from Washington, and a U.S. boycott of the COP30 climate talks in Brazil. Yet, despite political friction, economic ties remain strong. More than 600 American companies operate in South Africa.
Now, in discussions with a number of delegations here, there's been overwhelming consensus and agreement that one of the other tasks we should undertake right at the beginning is to execute the task that we have come here for principally, which is, by overwhelming consensus, to adopt our declaration. Now, I should precede this by remembering what a Roman philosopher called Pliny, the elder, once said. He said to have said, ex Africa semper aliquid novi, meaning out of Africa there is always something new. So something new always does come out of Africa. So with that, we would like, therefore, okay. I'm told that the cameras are still on, they should be off. I don't know why that is so. With that, we would like, therefore, with the consensus that has emerged through the work that has been done over the whole year and the 130 meetings that have been held where each sector has been able to reach agreement, would like, therefore, to put the proposed declaration as the G20 South Africa Summit Leaders Declaration, to put it forward for your adoption. Do I have the support that we should go ahead and